In the vast expanse of time, long before our ancestors gathered in villages or formed civilizations, there was a need to understand the world around them. The sky, the earth, the stars, these were mysteries too great to comprehend fully. Yet, within the heart of early humans, there was a burning desire to make sense of it all, to find comfort and meaning in a world that could be both awe-inspiring and terrifying. It was in this primal world, surrounded by untamed nature, that the oldest gods were born. These were not the gods of grand temples or written scriptures, but of whispers carried by the wind, of ancient stories shared around flickering fires. They were the gods who emerged from the very elements that shaped the lives of early humans, the sun that gave life, the rain that nourished the earth, the storm that brought fear, and the night sky filled with countless stars. The oldest god was not just a figure of power, it was a reflection of the earliest human thoughts, fears, and hopes. To look at the oldest god is to peer into the soul of humanity itself. In the earliest days, life was a constant struggle for survival. The world was harsh, unpredictable, and full of dangers that could strike at any moment. Amidst this uncertainty, early humans found comfort in the idea that there was something greater than themselves, something that controlled the forces of nature and could be appeased or angered. This god was often seen as the creator, the one who brought everything into existence. The very act of creation was a mystery, a miracle that needed explanation. How did the sun rise each morning? What made the rivers flow, the trees grow, and the animals roam? The oldest god was the answer to these questions, a presence that existed before all else, responsible for the world as they knew it. In many cultures, the oldest god was associated with the sky. The sky was vast, unreachable, and eternal, qualities that made it the perfect home for a deity who was believed to be the source of all life. The sky god watched over everything, from the highest mountains to the deepest valleys. When the thunder roared or the lightning flashed, it was the voice and hand of this god at work. The sky was both a protector and a reminder of the god's power. But the oldest god was not just a distant being in the sky. This god was also deeply connected to the earth, to the very ground that early humans walked upon. The earth itself was seen as a mother, nurturing all living things, providing food, shelter, and life. The connection between the oldest god and the earth was a bond that could never be broken. The earth was alive, sacred, and full of the god's presence. Early humans, with their limited understanding of the world, found in the oldest god a sense of order amidst chaos. When the rain fell, it was a blessing from the god. When crops grew, it was the god's favor. And when disaster struck, a flood, a drought, or a deadly storm, it was the god's wrath. The god was not just a distant figure but an active participant in their lives, influencing everything from the harvest to the hunt. In their minds, the god was both loving and fearsome, both kind and cruel. To appease this god, they offered sacrifices, performed rituals, and told stories that passed down through generations. These stories were not just tales but the very fabric of their beliefs, a way to connect with the god who had always been there, since the beginning of time. The oldest god was also a symbol of unity for early communities. As people gathered in small groups, they shared their experiences and their beliefs. These shared beliefs in the god who controlled the forces of nature helped to bind them together. It gave them a common understanding of the world, a reason to work together, to protect each other, and to pass on their knowledge to future generations. This god was the first to hear the prayers of humanity, the first to receive their offerings. When people looked up at the stars or into the flames of a fire, they felt the presence of the god who had shaped their world. It was a presence that could not be ignored, for it was everywhere, above them, below them, and all around them. The oldest god was not just an idea, it was a presence that touched the deepest parts of the human soul. It was the embodiment of their need for understanding, for comfort, and for a connection to something greater than themselves. In a world full of uncertainty, the god provided a sense of stability, a sense of purpose. Even as the centuries passed and civilizations rose and fell, the essence of the oldest god remained. This god had many names and forms, yet the core idea stayed the same, a being that existed before all else, that created the world, and that held the power of life and death. When early humans looked around them, they didn't see a world of random occurrences. They saw a world filled with meaning, with signs and symbols that pointed to the God who had always been there. The sunrise wasn't just the beginning of a new day, it was a reminder of the God's power and generosity. The changing seasons weren't just a natural cycle, they were the God's way of sustaining life. Everything was connected to the God, and in turn, they were connected to everything around them. In their hearts, early humans knew that they were not alone. They felt the presence of the God in the wind that rustled the leaves, in the rain that fell from the sky, and in the earth beneath their feet. This connection to the God was not just a belief, it was a lived experience, something that shaped their every action, thought, and feeling. And so, the oldest God became a part of their identity, a part of who they were. It was a bond that could not be broken, a relationship that transcended time and space. Even as the world changed and new gods emerged, the memory of the oldest God remained, a testament to the enduring power of faith and the unbreakable connection between humanity and the divine. In the earliest days of human existence, long before the rise of cities or the written word, people lived in a world where every moment was a battle for survival. The darkness of the night was thick with unknown dangers, the forests were filled with creatures both great and small, and the skies were vast and ever-changing. Life was fragile, and the forces of nature were immense and unpredictable. In this world, early humans searched for meaning. They looked to the sky, to the earth, and to the waters around them, trying to understand the forces that controlled their lives. They felt a connection to the world around them, a connection that was both terrifying and comforting. In the rustling of the leaves, in the roar of thunder, in the calm of a still night, they sensed a presence, a force greater than themselves. It was as if the world was alive, filled with spirits that watched over them, that could help or harm them, depending on how they were treated. This feeling wasn't just a passing thought, it was a deep, instinctual belief. Early humans began to see the world not just as a collection of physical objects, but as a place filled with spirit and life. Every tree, every rock, every stream seemed to hold a spirit of its own, a soul that could feel, react, and influence the world. This belief became known as animism, and it was the beginning of something profound, the birth of spirituality. In the eyes of early humans, nature was more than just their environment, it was a living, breathing entity. The sun wasn't just a source of light, it was a powerful being that rose each day to bring warmth and life. The moon wasn't just a celestial body, it was a mysterious presence that controlled the tides and guided them through the darkness. The rivers weren't just flowing water, they were the veins of the earth, filled with life and energy. The forests weren't just places of shelter, they were the homes of countless spirits, each with its own will and power. As they watched the world around them, early humans began to see patterns, connections, and relationships between different forces of nature. They noticed how the sun's warmth brought life to the plants, how the rain nourished the earth, how the wind carried the seeds of life across the land. They saw these forces as part of a greater whole, a web of life that was interconnected and interdependent. And within this web, they saw the presence of gods. These gods were not like the gods we think of today. They were not all-powerful beings sitting on thrones in the heavens. They were more like the spirits of nature, each one representing a different aspect of the world. There was the god of the sun, the god of the moon, the god of the rivers, the god of the forests. These gods were everywhere and everything, and they played a crucial role in the lives of early humans. The earliest gods were deeply connected to the world around them and to the survival of the people who worshipped them. The sun god was seen as a bringer of life, responsible for the growth of crops and the warmth of the day. The rain god was seen as a giver of sustenance, bringing the water that made the earth fertile. The wind god was seen as a force of change, spreading seeds and bringing new life to the land. In many cultures, the earth itself was worshipped as a goddess, a mother who gave birth to all living things and provided for her children. She was the one who nourished them, who sustained them, who gave them everything they needed to survive. Her body was the land they walked on, the soil they tilled, the food they ate. She was their mother, and they honored her with offerings and rituals, hoping to win her favor and ensure their survival. The gods of early humans were not distant, abstract beings, they were immediate and present, involved in every aspect of life. They were the forces that shaped the world, that brought life and death, that controlled the seasons and the weather. They were the protectors of the people, but they were also unpredictable and could bring disaster if not treated with respect. As early humans traveled and spread across the globe, these beliefs in the gods of nature spread with them. In different places, these gods took on different forms, but the core idea remained the same: the world was alive, filled with spirits and forces that needed to be respected and honored. From the deserts of Africa to the forests of Europe, from the mountains of Asia to the plains of the Americas, the gods of nature were worshipped and revered. In the cave paintings of our ancestors, we see the evidence of these beliefs. The images of animals, of hunting scenes, of rituals and ceremonies, all speak of a deep connection to the world around them, and to the gods who controlled it. These paintings were not just art, they were expressions of faith, of reverence for the spirits of the animals they hunted, the spirits of the earth they lived on, the spirits of the skies they looked up to. In the burial sites of early humans, we find the remnants of their rituals, offerings of food, tools, and other goods left for the spirits of the dead, in the belief that these spirits would continue to exist in another world, a world watched over by the gods. These burial practices show a belief in an afterlife, a belief that the spirit lived on, and that it was important to honor the gods even in death. One of the earliest known deities in human history is the goddess of fertility, often represented by statues of women with exaggerated features, symbolizing the importance of fertility and life. These statues, found in various prehistoric cultures, show the deep reverence early humans had for the forces of life and creation. The goddess of fertility was seen as the source of all life, the one who gave birth to the world and all its creatures. In the vast deserts of the Sahara, ancient people worshipped the rain god, a god who brought the precious water needed for survival. In the frozen tundras of the north, they worshipped the spirits of the animals they hunted, believing that these spirits would ensure their survival in the harsh, cold world. In the lush jungles of the tropics, they worshipped the spirits of the trees and the rivers, believing that these spirits controlled the flow of life in their world. These early gods were not just creations of the human mind, they were reflections of the world around them, of the forces that shaped their lives. They were born from the deep connection early humans felt with nature, from their need to understand and control the world they lived in. And as they worshipped these gods, they built the foundations of what would become the great religions and mythologies of the world. The dawn of religious beliefs was a time of wonder, a time when humans first began to reach beyond themselves, to connect with the forces that controlled their world. It was a time of discovery, of growth, of connection. And it was a time when the gods first began to take shape in the minds and hearts of humanity, setting the stage for the rich tapestry of beliefs and traditions that would follow. In the ancient land of Sumer, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers cradled the birth of civilization, the people looked up to the heavens and felt the presence of something powerful, something beyond their comprehension. They called him Anu, the sky god, the one who ruled over all, whose presence was felt in every gust of wind, every drop of rain, and every star that twinkled in the night sky. Anu was not just a god, he was the embodiment of the vast, limitless sky, the ultimate source of all creation and power. In the hearts of the Sumerians, Anu was the father of gods and men. He was the supreme deity, the one who stood at the pinnacle of their pantheon. When they gazed up at the sky, they didn't just see a blanket of stars or the glow of the sun, they saw Anu, watching over them, holding the universe in his hands. His presence was everywhere, from the highest peaks to the lowest valleys, from the fertile plains to the desolate deserts. He was the sky itself, eternal and unchanging, yet full of life and energy. Anu's role as the supreme deity wasn't just about power, it was about order, about maintaining the delicate balance between the forces of the world. The Sumerians believed that Anu's authority was absolute, that he was the one who decided the fate of gods and men alike. It was Anu who established the laws of the universe, who set the stars in their courses and the planets in their paths. His will was the law, and nothing could happen without his consent. In the stories told by the Sumerians, Anu was often depicted as a distant figure, residing in the highest heavens, far above the reach of mortals. Yet, despite this distance, his influence was felt in every aspect of life. The other gods, powerful as they were, all looked to Anu for guidance, for approval. When disputes arose among the gods, it was Anu who settled them. When the fate of the world hung in the balance, it was Anu who made the final decision. The connection between Anu and the development of Mesopotamian religion is profound. In a world where the forces of nature could be both nurturing and destructive, the Sumerians found solace in the belief that Anu, the sky god, was in control. They believed that through Anu, there was order in the cosmos, a divine plan that ensured the continuation of life. This belief in Anu's supremacy shaped the very foundation of their religious practices, their rituals, and their understanding of the world. In the early days of Sumerian civilization, Anu's worship was central to their religious life. Temples were built in his honor, towering structures that reached toward the sky, symbolizing the connection between the earth and the heavens. Priests and priestesses dedicated their lives to serving Anu, offering prayers, sacrifices, and rituals to ensure his favor. They believed that by honoring Anu, they were securing the well-being of their cities, their crops, their families. But Anu was not just a distant figure to be feared and respected, he was also a source of hope and protection. In times of trouble, when the world seemed to be falling apart, the Sumerians turned to Anu, praying for his guidance, for his intervention. They believed that Anu had the power to bring peace, to restore order, to protect them from the chaos that threatened to overwhelm them. As time passed, the worship of Anu evolved. The Sumerians began to see him not just as a singular deity, but as part of a divine triad, alongside Enlil, the god of the air, and Enki, the god of water and wisdom. This triad represented the three realms of the universe, the heavens, the earth, and the waters below. Anu, as the god of the sky, was the ruler of the heavens, the highest and most powerful of the three. In this triad, Anu's role as the supreme god remained, but his worship began to take on new dimensions. The Sumerians saw in Anu the source of kingship, the divine right to rule. Kings were believed to be chosen by Anu, to act as his representatives on earth. The authority of the king was seen as an extension of Anu's authority, and to defy the king was to defy Anu himself. This belief in divine kingship became a cornerstone of Sumerian society, shaping their political structure, their laws, and their culture. Over time, as the Sumerian civilization grew and changed, so too did the worship of Anu. New gods emerged, new stories were told, and Anu's role began to shift. He became more of a symbolic figure, representing the idea of divine order and kingship, rather than an active, personal deity. The temples dedicated to Anu remained, but his worship became more formalized, more distant. Yet, despite these changes, the memory of Anu, the sky god, continued to resonate in the hearts of the people. Even as other gods rose to prominence, Anu remained the father of the gods, the source of all authority, the one who had created the heavens and the earth. His presence could still be felt in the vast, open sky, and the endless expanse that stretched above them, a reminder of the divine order that governed their lives. In the echoes of ancient prayers, in the ruins of old temples, and the stories passed down through generations, the legacy of Anu lives on. He was more than just a god, he was a symbol of hope, of protection, of the unbreakable bond between the heavens and the earth. To the Sumerians, Anu was the sky, the father of all, the one who watched over them from the heights of the heavens, guiding them, protecting them, and holding the universe in his hands. In the beginning, there was nothing but a vast, endless expanse of darkness, a void so profound that even the concept of time seemed to disappear into its depths. Out of this nothingness, a force began to stir, a spark of life, a breath of creation. It was from this primordial chaos that Atum emerged, the first god, the source of all life, the creator who brought the world into existence. Atum, in the beliefs of ancient Egypt, was not just any god. He was the embodiment of the very act of creation, a being who existed before anything else. The Egyptians saw him as the one who brought order to the chaos, who shaped the universe with his own hands, who breathed life into the void and made the first dawn rise over the land. They believed that Atum contained within himself all the potential of the universe, all the elements that would eventually form the world and everything in it. When the Egyptians spoke of Atum, they spoke of him with reverence and awe. He was a god who stood alone at the beginning of time, a solitary figure in the vast emptiness, holding within him the power to create, to give life, to shape the very fabric of existence. They believed that Atum created himself, that he willed himself into being, rising from the waters of none, the primordial ocean of chaos, standing on the first piece of land, the sacred mound that would become the foundation of the world. Atum's act of creation was not just a moment, it was a process, a journey from nothingness to the fullness of life. The Egyptians believed that Atum brought forth the first gods, the divine beings who would help him shape the world. From his own body, he produced the twin Shu, the god of air, and Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. These two deities, born from Atum, would go on to create Geb, the god of the earth, and Nut, the goddess of the sky, forming the basic structure of the universe. But Atum's role did not end with the creation of the first gods. He was seen as the father of all gods, the one from whom all life descended. The Egyptians believed that every god, every spirit, every living being could trace their lineage back to Atum. He was the source, the origin, the foundation upon which the entire cosmos was built. His presence was felt in every aspect of life, in every breath of wind, and every drop of rain, in the very soil of the earth. Atum's connection to creation was profound, and it influenced the way the Egyptians understood the world around them. They saw in Atum the cycle of life and death, the eternal return of creation and destruction. They believed that just as Atum had created the world, he would one day bring it to an end, returning everything to the primordial chaos from which it had come. But even in this destruction, there was hope, for Atum would create again, beginning the cycle anew. The story of Atum was not just a story of creation, it was a story of endurance, of resilience, of the power to create in the face of nothingness. It was a story that resonated deeply with the Egyptians, who lived in a land where the cycles of the Nile, of life and death, of growth and decay, were a constant reminder of the fragility and the beauty of existence. In Atum, they saw a God who understood their struggles, who had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, who had the power to create and to sustain life against all odds. As time passed, the worship of Atum evolved, but his influence remained. He became associated with Ra, the sun god, as Atum Ra, a combination that reflected the belief in the continuity of life and the eternal cycle of creation and renewal. In this form, Atum became the setting sun, the one who guided the world through the darkness of night, only to rise again in the morning, bringing light and life to the world once more. Atum's influence can be seen in the many other deities of ancient Egypt. Gods like Osiris, the god of the afterlife, and Horus, the god of kingship, were shaped by the concepts of creation, death, and rebirth that Atum embodied. The Egyptians saw in these gods the continuation of Atum's work, the ongoing process of creation and renewal that defined their world. Even the pharaohs, who were seen as divine beings on earth, traced their lineage back to Atum, believing that they were chosen by him to rule, to bring order to the chaos, just as he had done at the beginning of time. In the temples and tombs of Egypt, Atum's presence was everywhere. His image was carved into stone, painted on walls, depicted as a man with a double crown, symbolizing his dominion over all creation. The priests of Egypt honored him with rituals and prayers, invoking his name in their ceremonies, asking for his guidance, his protection, his creative power. They believed that by honoring Atum, they were honoring the very act of creation, the force that had given them life and that sustained the world around them. Atum was more than just a creator god. He was a symbol of hope, of resilience, of the power to create and to endure. He represented the idea that even in the darkest moments, there is the potential for life, for growth, for renewal. The Egyptians looked to Atum not just as a god, but as a reminder of their own strength, their own ability to face the challenges of life and to create something beautiful out of the chaos. In the end, the story of Atum is the story of life itself, a story of beginnings, of creation, of the eternal cycle that defines our existence. It is a story that has resonated through the ages, that continues to inspire, to comfort, to give hope. For in Atum, the Egyptians saw the promise of life, the certainty that no matter how dark the night, the sun will rise again, and with it, the world will be born anew. Beneath the vast, open sky, where the heavens seemed to stretch on forever, there was a presence that ancient people could feel deep in their souls. It was the Sky Father, a figure who was not just a god but a symbol of protection, authority, and life itself. This concept of the Sky Father, a deity who ruled from the heavens, was one that resonated across many cultures, born from the ancient roots of the Proto-Indo-European religion. The Sky Father was a figure of immense power and significance. In the eyes of the people who worshipped him, he was the one who watched over them, who saw everything from his lofty throne in the sky. He was the father of all, the giver of life, the protector who kept the world in balance. The people believed that the sky, with its endless expanse and its ability to bring rain and storms, was the domain of this great fatherly figure. In the earliest days of the Proto-Indo-European culture, the Sky Father was more than just a god, he was the embodiment of the sky itself. To these ancient people, the sky was alive, a powerful force that brought light and warmth, rain and storms, and the very breath of life. They saw the sky as a fatherly figure, one who was strong and protective, who provided for his children on earth. In their prayers and rituals, they called out to this Sky Father, seeking his favor, his guidance, his protection. As the Proto-Indo-European people spread across different regions, taking their beliefs with them, the Sky Father became a central figure in many of the cultures that emerged from this ancient root. In each of these cultures, the Sky Father took on different names and forms, but the essence of this deity remained the same, a powerful, protective father figure who ruled from the heavens. In ancient Greece, the Sky Father was known as Zeus, the king of the gods. He was the ruler of Mount Olympus, the one who wielded the thunderbolt, who brought rain and storms, who watched over all of creation. The Greeks saw Zeus as the ultimate authority, the one who maintained order in the cosmos, who protected the weak and punished the wicked. He was a father not just to the gods, but to all humanity, a figure of justice and strength. In ancient Rome, this same figure was known as Jupiter, the god of the sky and thunder. Like Zeus, Jupiter was the king of the gods, the one who held the power of the heavens in his hands. The Romans believed that Jupiter was the protector of the state, the one who ensured the success and prosperity of their people. They built great temples in his honor, offering sacrifices and prayers, seeking his blessing for their armies, their crops, their families. In the ancient Vedic tradition of India, the Sky Father was known as Dyaus Pitar, a name that literally means Sky Father. He was the father of the gods, the one who watched over the world from the heavens. Dyaus Pitar was often depicted as a vast, all-encompassing figure, the sky itself, whose presence was felt in every breath of wind, every drop of rain. The Vedic people believed that Dyaus Pitar was the source of life, the one who brought the rains that nourished their crops, who provided for their needs, who protected them from harm. In the Norse tradition, this figure was known as Odin, the All-Father. Odin was a complex and mysterious god, one who was associated with wisdom, war, and death, but also with the sky and the winds. The Norse people believed that Odin ruled from the highest heavens, watching over the world with his one all-seeing eye. He was a fatherly figure to the gods, a protector of humanity, a bringer of knowledge and power. Odin was often depicted as a wanderer, traveling the world, seeking wisdom and knowledge, but always connected to the vast, open sky. In each of these cultures, the Sky Father was more than just a god, he was a symbol of the enduring connection between the heavens and the earth, between the divine and the mortal. He was a figure who represented authority, protection, and life itself, a reminder that no matter how vast and powerful the forces of nature might be, there was always a guiding hand, a fatherly presence, watching over all. The influence of the Sky Father can be seen in the way these cultures understood the world around them. They saw the sky as a living, breathing force, a powerful entity that was both nurturing and awe-inspiring. The Sky Father was the one who brought the rains that made the crops grow, who sent the storms that reminded them of the power of the gods, who watched over them from his high throne in the heavens. In their rituals and prayers, they sought to connect with this divine presence, to honor the Sky Father, to seek his favor and protection. In many ways, the Sky Father was a reflection of the human experience, of the relationship between fathers and children, between rulers and subjects. He was a figure who provided for his people, who protected them, who maintained order in the world. But he was also a figure who could be stern and demanding, who required respect and obedience. The people who worshipped the Sky Father understood that he was both a loving protector and a powerful authority, a figure to be revered and respected. As the centuries passed and these cultures evolved, the Sky Father remained a central figure in their beliefs. Even as new gods and new ideas emerged, the Sky Father continued to be a symbol of the connection between the heavens and the earth, between the divine and the mortal. He was a reminder that no matter how much the world might change, the sky above, with its endless expanse and its powerful forces, would always be there, watching over them, guiding them, protecting them. In the end, the Sky Father was more than just a god. He was a symbol of the enduring power of the sky, of the connection between the heavens and the earth, of the relationship between the divine and the mortal. He was a figure who represented the strength, the protection, and the life-giving power of the sky, a figure who has resonated across cultures and centuries, leaving an indelible mark on the human experience. In the ancient lands where the sky stretched endlessly above, and the earth lay vast and mysterious below, there was a figure whose presence was felt in every breath of wind, every crack of thunder. Dyaus Pitar, the ancient sky god of Vedic religion, was not just a deity, he was the very embodiment of the sky, the father of all gods, the guardian who watched over his children from the heavens. His name, Dyaus Pitar, meant Sky Father, a title that resonated deeply with the people who looked up to him for protection, for guidance, for life itself. Dyaus Pitar's origins are rooted in the earliest beliefs of the Vedic people, a culture that flourished thousands of years ago in what is now modern-day India. To these ancient people, the sky was not just a vast expanse above their heads, it was a living entity, a force of nature that brought rain, storms, and light. Dyaus Pitar was the personification of this sky, a god who was as eternal and powerful as the heavens themselves. The Vedic people believed that Dyaus Pitar was the father of all gods, the one from whom all divine beings descended. He was often mentioned alongside Prithvi, the earth goddess, who was seen as his consort. Together, they represented the union of heaven and earth, the two fundamental forces that sustained life. The rain that fell from the sky to nourish the earth was seen as a symbol of their union, a reminder that Dyaus Pitar was the source of life and fertility. But Dyaus Pitar was not just a figure of nurturing and protection, he was also a god of immense power and authority. The Vedic people believed that he controlled the thunder and lightning, that his voice could be heard in the rumbling of storms, that his presence was felt in the winds that swept across the land. They saw him as a fatherly figure, but also as a force to be reckoned with, a god who demanded respect and reverence. Dyaus Pitar's significance extended beyond the Vedic religion. His name and attributes echoed in other Indo-European cultures, where similar sky gods were worshipped. The ancient Greeks had Zeus, the king of the gods, whose name is linguistically related to Dyaus Pitar. The Romans worshipped Jupiter, another sky father, who shared many of the same characteristics. Even in the Norse tradition, Odin, the All-Father, carried echoes of this ancient sky god. Across these cultures, the figure of the Sky Father was a unifying presence, a symbol of the shared roots of their beliefs. However, as time passed and the Vedic religion evolved into what we now know as Hinduism, Dyaus Pitar's prominence began to fade. New gods and new ideas emerged, and Dyaus Pitar, once the supreme deity, became a more distant figure. He was not forgotten, but his role changed, his influence transformed. In later Hindu mythology, Dyaus Pitar was often overshadowed by other gods like Indra, the god of storms, and Varuna, the god of the oceans. These gods took on many of the attributes that once belonged to Dyaus Pitar, becoming the new guardians of the sky and the earth. Yet, even as his role diminished, Dyaus Pitar's legacy lived on. The idea of a sky father, a god who watched over the world from above, remained a powerful symbol in Hindu thought. In many ways, Dyaus Pitar became a part of the fabric of Hinduism, a thread that connected the ancient past with the present, a reminder of the deep roots of their faith. His story was one of transformation, of evolution, of the way that gods and beliefs change over time, yet still retain their core essence. In the vast and complex world of Hindu mythology, where countless gods and goddesses each have their own stories, Dyaus Pitar stands as a figure of quiet strength, a god who embodies the sky and all that it represents. He is the father who watches over his children, the force of nature that sustains life, the eternal presence that links the heavens and the earth. Even as other gods rose to prominence, Dyaus Pitar's influence could still be felt, a reminder of the ancient beliefs that shaped the world. For the people who once worshipped him, Dyaus Pitar was more than just a god. He was a part of their world, a presence that was as real and as powerful as the sky itself. They looked up to him in times of need, called upon him in their prayers, saw his hand in the rain that nourished their crops, and the storms that swept across their lands. And even as the world changed, as new gods emerged and old ones faded, the memory of Dyaus Pitar remained, a testament to the enduring power of the sky, to the fatherly figure who once ruled from above. In the beginning, when the world was still shrouded in darkness and chaos, there was a force so vast, so all-encompassing, that it seemed to cradle the entire cosmos in its embrace. This force was Uranus, the primordial sky god, the very personification of the heavens in Greek mythology. Uranus was not just a god, he was the sky itself, the endless expanse that stretched above the earth, holding within it the stars, the sun, and the moon. His presence was felt in every breath of wind, every ray of sunlight, every storm that rumbled across the horizon. Uranus was born from Gaia, the earth itself, in a time when the world was still young and unformed. Gaia, in her solitude, longed for something more, and from her yearning, Uranus came into being. He spread himself over her, covering her entirely, a vast and infinite sky embracing the earth. Together, Uranus and Gaia gave birth to the Titans, the Cyclopes, and the Centaurs, beings of immense power and strength who would come to shape the destiny of the cosmos. But Uranus was not a kind or loving father. He feared the power of his children, the Titans, and sought to keep them under his control. He pushed them deep into the earth, imprisoning them within Gaia's womb, causing her immense pain and suffering. Gaia, in her anguish, could no longer bear the cruelty of Uranus and called upon her children to rise against him. It was Cronus, the youngest of the Titans, who answered her call. With a sickle made from the hardest stone, Cronus ambushed Uranus as he descended to lie with Gaia. In one swift and terrible motion, Cronus struck, severing Uranus from his power. As Uranus recoiled in pain, the blood from his wound fell upon the earth, and from it sprang the Furies, the Giants, and the Melii, the nymphs of the ash tree. Uranus, once the mighty sky that embraced the world, was no more. He retreated to the heavens, leaving the world to his children, the Titans, who would rule in his place. But Uranus's influence did not end with his fall. His legacy lived on in the cosmos, and the very fabric of the world he had helped create. The sky, though now distant and aloof, still held a presence, a memory of Uranus's reign. His children, the Titans, would go on to shape the world, but the shadow of their father's power remained, a reminder of the sky's enduring strength. Uranus's story did not end with the Titans, for his influence can be seen in the gods who followed. The mighty Zeus, who would overthrow the Titans and establish his rule as the king of the gods, was born from Cronus and Rhea, the descendants of Uranus. Zeus, with his thunderbolt and his command of the skies, carried within him the essence of Uranus, the primordial sky god. The heavens that Zeus ruled were the same heavens that Uranus had once embodied, a continuation of the power that had existed since the dawn of time. In Roman mythology, Uranus was known as Salus, and though his story was less prominent, the essence of the sky god remained. The Romans, too, saw the sky as a divine presence, a force that watched over the world from above. Salus, like Uranus, was a reminder of the power of the heavens, of the sky's role in the creation and maintenance of the cosmos. Uranus, though often overshadowed by the gods who came after him, remains a figure of immense importance in Greek mythology. He is the embodiment of the sky, the first force to rise above the chaos, to bring order to the world. His story is one of creation and destruction, of the birth of the gods and the shaping of the cosmos. Even in his fall, Uranus left an indelible mark on the world, a legacy that would endure through the ages, carried on by his descendants, the gods of Olympus. The stars that twinkle in the night sky, the sun that rises each morning, the moon that casts its pale light upon the earth, these are the remnants of Uranus, the primordial sky god, whose presence still lingers in the heavens. He may no longer rule the world, but his spirit lives on, in the vastness of the sky, in the power of the storms, and the endless expanse that stretches above us all. Uranus is the sky, the father of the gods, the eternal presence that watches over the world, even now, from his distant place among the stars. In the frozen void of Ginnungagap, where fire and ice met in a world not yet born, there was a being of immense size and power. His name was Ymir, the primordial giant, the first of all creatures in Norse mythology. He was not just a giant, he was the very essence of creation, the raw, untamed force that would give rise to the world and everything in it. From Ymir's colossal form, the gods themselves would be born, and from his body, the earth, sea, and sky would be shaped. Ymir's origins are steeped in the icy mists of Niflheim and the fiery heat of Muspelheim. When these two elemental realms collided in the yawning gap of Ginnungagap, the heat from Muspelheim caused the ice of Niflheim to melt, and from these droplets of water, Ymir was formed. He was a being unlike any other, a giant whose body held within it the potential for all life. As he slept, the warmth of the melting ice caused him to sweat, and from this sweat emerged the first beings, the frost giants. These were Ymir's children, born from his very body, just as he had been born from the meeting of fire and ice. But Ymir's existence was not one of peace. He was a chaotic force, a being of immense power who consumed and grew without end. His presence threatened the balance of the world, and it became clear that in order for life to flourish, Ymir would have to be destroyed. It was Odin, along with his brothers Vili and Ve, who would take on this monumental task. In a battle that shook the very foundations of existence, the three gods attacked Ymir with all their might. They struck him down, and as his enormous body fell, the world began to take shape. Ymir's flesh became the earth, his blood the oceans, his bones the mountains, and his skull the sky. From his hair, the trees and plants grew, and from his eyebrows, the gods fashioned Midgard, the world of humans. Ymir's body, once a chaotic force of creation, had now become the very fabric of the world, the foundation upon which all life would be built. Ymir's death was not just a necessary act of creation, it was also deeply symbolic. In Norse mythology, Ymir represents the primal chaos from which the ordered world emerged. His body, transformed into the elements of the earth, symbolizes the idea that all life is born from chaos, that even in destruction, there is the potential for creation. Ymir's sacrifice was the ultimate act of transformation, turning the raw, untamed energy of the void into the structured, living world. But Ymir's legacy did not end with the creation of the world. His blood, which had flooded the earth and formed the seas, also gave rise to the frost giants, who would become the eternal enemies of the gods. These giants, born from Ymir's body, were a constant reminder of the chaotic forces that still lurked beneath the surface of the world. They were a symbol of the ongoing struggle between order and chaos, a struggle that would continue throughout the ages. In the mythology of the Norse people, Ymir was more than just a giant, he was the embodiment of the universe itself. His story is one of creation and destruction, of chaos and order, of life and death. Ymir's existence was brief, but his influence was eternal. Every rock, every tree, every mountain and river was once a part of him, a reminder that the world we live in was born from the body of a giant. For the Norse, the story of Ymir was a way of understanding the world around them. It explained the origins of the earth and the forces that shaped it, but it also spoke to deeper truths about the nature of existence. Ymir's death was a reminder that life is fleeting, that everything we know and love is built upon the bones of those who came before us. His story was a way of making sense of the cycles of life and death, creation and destruction, that are at the heart of the human experience. Even as the gods who slew Ymir went on to create and rule the world, the memory of the primordial giant lingered. His blood, his bones, his flesh, all became a part of the world, a world that was forever shaped by his existence. Ymir was the first being, the source of all life, and though he was gone, his presence could still be felt in every corner of the earth. In the end, Ymir's story is one of transformation, of the way that life emerges from the most unlikely of places. From the icy void of Ginnungagap to the vibrant, living world, Ymir's journey is a testament to the power of creation, the force of life that can spring forth even from the coldest, darkest places. His body became the world, his blood the seas, his bones the mountains, and in doing so, Ymir became eternal, a part of the very fabric of the universe. In the ancient lands where the sun scorched the earth and the winds whispered through the deserts, there was a god whose presence was as enduring as the mountains and as vast as the sky. His name was El, and he was the father of gods, the supreme deity in Canaanite religion. El was not a god of fleeting storms or momentary battles. He was the eternal, the unchanging, the one who sat upon his throne in the high heavens, watching over all creation with a wisdom as old as time itself. El was revered as the chief of all gods, the one who held dominion over the heavens and the earth. He was a god of great power, but his power was not in the force of arms or the might of thunderbolts. It was in his authority, his ability to command and to create, to bring forth life and to set the order of the world. El was the god of gods, the ruler of the divine council, where all other deities bowed before him, acknowledging his supremacy. The people of Canaan knew El as a god of many faces. He was the creator, the one who had shaped the world from the void, bringing forth the land and the seas, the sky and the stars. He was the father, the progenitor of gods and men, whose lineage stretched across the heavens and the earth. In his wisdom, he guided the destiny of the world, ensuring that the balance of life was maintained, that the cycles of nature continued without end. But El was more than just a distant ruler. He was a god who cared deeply for his creation. He was depicted as a fatherly figure, with a long beard and a compassionate heart. He was the one who listened to the prayers of the people, who heard their cries and answered them with kindness. El was a god of mercy, a protector of the weak, a guardian of the downtrodden. His presence was a source of comfort, a reminder that even in the harshest of times, there was a God who watched over all with love and compassion. El's influence was not confined to the realm of the divine. His character and attributes left a profound mark on the religions that would follow. As the Canaanite civilization gave way to the emerging faiths of the Hebrews, El's name and image began to weave into the fabric of these new beliefs. The Hebrew God, known as Elohim, bears the mark of El's ancient legacy. In the earliest texts of the Bible, the name El is often used to refer to the one true God, a reflection of the deep connection between the Canaanite God and the emerging monotheistic faith. El's attributes as a creator, a father, and a compassionate ruler found resonance in the stories and teachings of the Abrahamic religions. In the figure of El, we see the seeds of a tradition that would grow into Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His influence can be felt in the idea of a singular, all-powerful God who watches over the world, who cares for his creation, and who guides the destiny of all living things. But in the Canaanite tradition, El was not alone in his rule. He was the head of a divine council, a gathering of gods who assisted him in the governance of the world. Among them were Baal, the god of storms and fertility, and Asherah, the mother goddess. Yet even among these powerful deities, El stood supreme. His word was law, his wisdom unmatched, his authority unquestioned. The other gods looked to El for guidance, for his decisions shaped the fate of the world. El's connection to the natural world was profound. He was often associated with the bull, a symbol of strength and fertility. In ancient times, the bull was a sacred animal, revered for its power and its ability to provide for the people. El, as the bull, represented the life-giving force of nature, the sustainer of all that lived. His presence was seen in the fertility of the land, the abundance of the harvest, the strength of the herds. To worship El was to acknowledge the sacredness of life, the divine force that flowed through all of creation. In the quiet moments of prayer, when the people of Canaan lifted their voices to the heavens, it was El they called upon. In their hearts, they knew that he was not just a god of the past, but a living presence, a guiding force that would never abandon them. His name was spoken with reverence, his image carved into the stones of their temples, a lasting tribute to the God who had shaped their world and their lives. El's story is one of continuity, of a divine presence that transcends time and culture. From the ancient deserts of Canaan to the sacred texts of the Bible, his influence has endured, a testament to the power of a God who was more than just a figure of myth. El was the father of gods, the creator of the world, the compassionate ruler who watched over all with love and wisdom. And in the hearts of those who believed in him, El was not just a god, he was the embodiment of the divine, the eternal force that breathed life into the world and held it together with an unbreakable bond. In the misty dawn of ancient China, when the land was still young and the rivers were fresh with the tears of creation, there was a god whose presence was as vast and profound as the heavens themselves. His name was Shangdi, the supreme deity of early Chinese religion. Shangdi was not just a god among many, he was the embodiment of the divine order, the ruler of the cosmos, and the overseer of the earthly realm. Shangdi was revered as the highest god, the ultimate authority who governed the universe with a hand both gentle and firm. He was the embodiment of the heavens, a force that reached beyond the clouds and into the very essence of existence. In the Shang and Zhou dynasties, his name was spoken with awe and respect, for he was the creator of all things, the one who gave life and direction to the world. To the ancient Chinese, Shangdi was not merely a distant figure, he was the guiding light that shone from the highest point in the sky, the source of all moral and cosmic order. In the Shang dynasty, the worship of Shangdi was a central part of the spiritual life. The people believed that Shangdi was the ultimate ruler, a divine figure who controlled the natural world and the destiny of humanity. The Shang rulers, who were seen as intermediaries between Shangdi and the people, performed elaborate rituals and sacrifices to honor him. These ceremonies were held in sacred spaces, often on high altars, where offerings of food, wine, and other precious items were made to appease the great god. The belief in Shangdi was intertwined with the belief in ancestors, as the rulers invoked both the spirits of their forebears and Shangdi in their prayers, seeking guidance and favor. As the Zhou dynasty emerged, the worship of Shangdi continued, but it evolved to reflect the changing times. The Zhou rulers saw themselves as the chosen ones of Shangdi, sent to bring a new order to the world. They believed that their mandate to rule came directly from Shangdi, and they maintained this divine connection through rituals and ceremonies that honored both the supreme god and the spirits of their ancestors. The Zhou period saw a refinement in the rituals dedicated to Shangdi, with an emphasis on the moral and ethical responsibilities of rulers and their duty to maintain harmony and justice in the land. Shangdi's role in Chinese cosmology was immense. He was not just a god of the heavens, but the very essence of cosmic order. The ancient Chinese believed that Shangdi governed the universe with a sense of balance and harmony, ensuring that the natural and moral laws were upheld. The cycles of nature, the movement of the stars, and the flow of the rivers were all seen as reflections of Shangdi's will. He was the divine force that kept the world in order, a presence that ensured the cycles of life continued without disruption. The rituals dedicated to Shangdi were elaborate and steeped in symbolism. The ancient Chinese believed that these ceremonies were essential for maintaining the favor of the god and ensuring the prosperity of the land. Rituals often involved sacrifices, not only of food and wine but also of symbolic items that represented the offerings of the heart. The act of sacrifice was seen as a way of connecting with Shangdi, of acknowledging his supreme authority and seeking his blessings for the well-being of the community. The precision and care with which these rituals were performed reflected the deep reverence the people had for Shangdi and the belief that their actions could influence the divine will. In the quiet moments of these ancient rituals, as the smoke from the offerings rose to the sky and the chants of the priests filled the air, there was a profound sense of connection between the earthly and the divine. The worship of Shangdi was not merely a series of rituals but a heartfelt expression of the people's desire to align themselves with the cosmic order. It was a way of reaching out to the divine, of seeking guidance and support from the highest of gods, who watched over them from his place in the heavens. Shangdi's influence extended beyond the rituals and ceremonies. His presence was felt in the daily lives of the people, in the natural world around them, and in the moral values that guided their actions. The belief in Shangdi shaped the way they viewed the world, infusing their lives with a sense of purpose and direction. The divine order he represented was not just a concept, but a living force that gave meaning to their existence. As centuries passed, the worship of Shangdi evolved, but the essence of his divine role remained a constant. His name, his presence, and his influence continued to resonate through the ages, a testament to the enduring power of the supreme god who had once watched over the ancient Chinese world. In the stories of Shangdi, we find a reflection of the divine order that has shaped the spiritual and cultural landscape of China, a reminder of the god who stood at the heart of creation, guiding and sustaining the world with a love that spanned both heaven and earth. In the heart of the Australian landscape, where the sun scorches the red earth and ancient winds whisper through the trees, there exists a deity whose presence is as enduring as the land itself. Baiame, the creator god of Aboriginal mythology, holds a place of profound reverence and respect among the indigenous peoples of Australia. His stories and traditions are woven into the very fabric of their spiritual life, marking him as a central figure in their cultural and religious practices. Baiame is seen as the great creator, the divine being who shaped the world with his own hands. He is often described as a figure of immense power and wisdom, responsible for bringing the land to life and setting its laws in motion. According to legend, Baiame created the mountains, the rivers, and the animals, and he breathed life into the world, giving it shape and purpose. His role as a creator is not just a distant memory but a living presence that continues to influence the way Aboriginal people interact with their environment and their spiritual practices. The stories of Baiame are rich with imagery and meaning, reflecting the deep connection between the Aboriginal people and their land. One of the most cherished stories tells of Baiame creating the first humans and teaching them how to live in harmony with the land. He is said to have instructed them in the ways of hunting, gathering, and respecting nature, ensuring that they could sustain themselves while also protecting the world he had made. Baiame's teachings are more than just historical accounts, they are guiding principles that continue to shape the way Aboriginal people live today. In the traditions and ceremonies dedicated to Baiame, his presence is felt as a tangible force, a reminder of the sacred connection between the people and their creator. Rituals are performed to honor Baiame and to seek his blessings for the land and its inhabitants. These ceremonies often involve songs, dances, and offerings, all of which are meant to acknowledge Baiame's role as the protector and sustainer of life. The rituals are performed with great care and respect, reflecting the deep reverence the people have for their creator and the world he has given them. Baiame's significance in Aboriginal spiritual practices extends beyond the rituals and ceremonies. He is seen as a constant presence in the natural world, a divine force that continues to shape and influence the land. The landscape itself is considered sacred, with particular sites and features believed to be imbued with Baiame's spirit. These places are treated with the utmost respect, and the stories associated with them are passed down through generations, serving as a living testament to Baiame's enduring influence. The stories of Baiame are not just ancient myths, they are a vital part of the Aboriginal way of life. They provide a framework for understanding the world and for living in harmony with it. The values and lessons embedded in these stories guide the actions of the people, shaping their relationships with each other and with the land. Baiame's teachings about respect, balance, and stewardship are as relevant today as they were in the distant past, serving as a constant reminder of the sacred bond between the Creator and His creation. In the quiet moments of reflection and reverence, when the sun sets over the Australian landscape and the stars begin to shine, the presence of Baiame is felt deeply. His stories and teachings continue to resonate with the people, a reminder of the divine connection that binds them to their land and to each other. Baiame is more than just a figure of the past, he is a living presence, a guiding force that continues to shape the spiritual and cultural life of the Aboriginal people. Through the stories, the rituals, and the sacred places associated with Baiame, his legacy endures, a testament to the enduring power of a creator god whose influence spans both time and space. His role as the creator, the teacher, and the protector is a central part of Aboriginal spirituality, a reminder of the sacred connection between the people and the land they call home. In the ancient whispers of Greek mythology, there is a name that resonates with the very heartbeat of the earth, Gaia. She is not just a figure among the gods, but the embodiment of the earth itself, the primal force from which all life springs. Gaia's presence is both nurturing and powerful, a reminder of the deep connection between the land and its inhabitants. Gaia, the personification of the earth, is seen as the mother of all life. From her, the fertile soil and the nurturing ground gave birth to plants, animals, and humanity. Her very essence is intertwined with the land, making her the eternal source of sustenance and growth. She is the primordial mother who cradles the world in her embrace, ensuring that life thrives and flourishes under her watchful gaze. The myths surrounding Gaia are as rich and varied as the landscape she represents. One of the most profound stories is that of her union with Uranus, the sky. Together, they gave birth to a host of deities and creatures that shaped the cosmos. Their offspring included the Titans, the Cyclopes, and the Centimanes, each playing a crucial role in the grand tapestry of creation. Gaia's relationship with Uranus was not just one of creation but also of conflict. When Uranus imprisoned some of their children, Gaia's anger led her to conspire with her youngest son, Cronus, to overthrow him. This act of rebellion was driven by her deep love for her children and her desire to see justice done. Gaia's influence extends beyond her children and their stories. She is also seen as a symbol of the enduring connection between humanity and nature. In ancient Greece, Gaia was worshipped as a deity who needed to be honored and appeased. Her role was not only as a creator but also as a protector of the natural world. Festivals and rituals were held in her name to ensure that the land remained fertile and that the cycles of nature continued uninterrupted. She was revered in various forms, from the great earth goddess to local spirits of the land, each reflecting her nurturing and life-giving aspects. The influence of Gaia stretches into modern thought as well. Her image as the earth goddess has inspired various movements and philosophies that emphasize the importance of environmental stewardship and respect for nature. The concept of Gaia as a living, breathing entity, a force that sustains and supports all life, has found a place in contemporary discussions about ecological balance and the interconnectedness of all living things. This modern perspective echoes the ancient reverence for Gaia, reminding us of the timeless bond between humanity and the earth. In every corner of the ancient world, Gaia's presence can be felt through the stories, the rituals, and the deep-seated respect for the land. Her role as the primal mother and the source of all life is a powerful testament to the enduring connection between the earth and its inhabitants. From the ancient myths of Greece to the modern understanding of ecological harmony, Gaia stands as a symbol of the profound relationship that binds us all to the natural world. In the heart of Aztec mythology, there is a divine presence that embodies the very essence of creation and balance, Ometeotl. This deity represents the primordial force from which all existence flows, a force both ancient and powerful, shaping the world with a harmonious touch of duality. Ometeotl is unique among the gods of the Aztec pantheon. As the primordial creator, Ometeotl is not one but two, embodying the perfect balance of opposites. This divine being exists in a state of duality, combining the energies of Ometeotl, the god of creation and life, and Ometeotl, the goddess of creation and death. Their union represents the harmony between opposing forces, life and death, light and darkness, creation and destruction. The concept of duality is central to Ometeotl's mythology. In the Aztec belief system, duality is not a conflict, but a necessary balance. It is through the interplay of these opposing forces that the world is sustained and made meaningful. Ometeotl's dual nature signifies that all aspects of existence are interconnected and interdependent. The balance between these forces is what allows the cosmos to function smoothly, ensuring that life continues to flourish even as it cycles through birth, growth, decay, and renewal. In the grand tapestry of Aztec cosmology, Ometeotl holds a place of profound significance. The deity's role as the origin of all things sets the stage for the creation of the world and everything within it. According to Aztec belief, Ometeotl's dual nature gave rise to the heavens and the earth, the sun and the moon, and all living creatures. This act of creation was not a one-time event, but an ongoing process of balance and renewal, with Ometeotl's presence ensuring that the world remains in harmony. The stories and rituals surrounding Ometeotl reflect the deep reverence the Aztecs had for this divine force. Temples and shrines dedicated to Ometeotl were places of great spiritual significance, where priests and worshippers would offer prayers and sacrifices to maintain the balance of the universe. These rituals were a way of honoring the god's dual nature and ensuring that the cosmic order remained intact. Ometeotl's influence is felt in every aspect of Aztec life. The concept of duality extends beyond mythology into daily practices and societal values. The Aztecs saw the world as a delicate balance of forces, and their rituals and ceremonies were designed to reflect and maintain this balance. By honoring Ometeotl and recognizing the interconnectedness of all things, they sought to live in harmony with the divine order and ensure the continued prosperity of their civilization. In the quiet moments of reflection, when the world pauses and the mysteries of existence come to the forefront, the essence of Ometeotl can still be felt. The dual nature of this primordial creator serves as a reminder of the delicate balance that underpins all life. It is a testament to the enduring belief that creation is not just a singular event, but an ongoing process of balance and renewal. Ometeotl's role in Aztec cosmology underscores the importance of harmony and unity in the universe. The deity's duality is a powerful symbol of the interconnectedness of all things, a reminder that every force, every element, and every being is part of a greater whole. Through the worship and reverence of Ometeotl, the Aztecs acknowledged and celebrated this profound balance, ensuring that their understanding of the world remained as harmonious and integrated as the divine force that shaped it. In the ancient myths of Mesopotamia, there is a figure whose presence flows through the very essence of creation. Nammu, the primordial sea goddess, holds a sacred place as the mother of all gods and the wellspring of life. Her story is a profound reminder of the deep connection between the vast, mysterious sea and the origins of the world. Nammu is seen as the ancient goddess of the sea, a boundless expanse that stretches beyond the horizon. In Mesopotamian belief, she represents the primordial waters from which all existence emerged. Imagine the endless depths of the ocean, its waves caressing the shore, its vastness seeming to hold the secrets of the universe. This is the essence of Nammu, a timeless, nurturing force that gave birth to the world and its divine inhabitants. The myth of Nammu is one of the most foundational tales in Mesopotamian mythology. According to the legend, in the beginning, there was only Nammu, the chaotic sea. From this primordial chaos, she gave rise to the first deities. Her waters were the cradle of creation, and from her depths emerged the sky god Anu and the earth god Enlil. These deities went on to shape the world and establish order from the initial chaos. Nammu's role in this process was crucial. She was the source from which everything came, her presence a constant reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. Nammu's influence in the pantheon of Mesopotamian deities is profound. As the mother of the gods, she holds a position of immense respect and reverence. The Mesopotamian people saw her as a symbol of the life-giving and sustaining force of the sea. Her role was not only to give birth to the gods, but also to maintain the balance of creation. In a world where the sea was both a source of life and a force of immense power, Nammu's presence was a constant reminder of the delicate balance that underpins existence. The worship of Nammu was a reflection of her importance in the lives of the Mesopotamians. Temples and rituals dedicated to her were designed to honor her role as the mother of the gods and the source of all life. The people would offer prayers and sacrifices to express their gratitude and seek her blessings. These ceremonies were not just acts of worship, but also a way of acknowledging the profound impact that Nammu had on their world. They understood that their very existence was intertwined with the ancient goddess, and their rituals were a way of maintaining that sacred connection. In every wave of the sea, in every drop of water, the presence of Nammu can still be felt. Her story is a timeless reminder of the deep, nurturing force that shapes our world. The myths and rituals surrounding her serve as a testament to the enduring power of the primordial sea and the vital role it plays in the cycle of life. Nammu's influence extends far beyond the ancient myths, resonating with the timeless rhythm of the ocean and the unbroken connection between the sea and the origins of all life. In the heart of Japanese mythology, the story of Izanami and Izanagi unfolds as a tale of creation and enduring love. These divine beings, revered as the creators of Japan's islands and gods, hold a special place in the spiritual and cultural heritage of the Japanese people. Izanami and Izanagi, whose names mean he who invites and she who invites, are seen as the primordial couple who shaped the world. Their story begins with a divine task given to them by the gods, to bring order to the chaotic void and create the Japanese archipelago. The myth paints a picture of their celestial love and tireless efforts as they descend from the heavens to perform this sacred mission. The couple's first act of creation was the emergence of the islands of Japan. Standing on the heavenly bridge, Izanagi and Izanami used a spear to stir the primordial ocean. As they lifted the spear, the drops of brine that fell from it solidified to form the islands of Japan. This act of creation was not just about bringing land to existence, but also about shaping a home for gods and people alike. The creation of these islands was a profound and intimate act, reflecting their divine role and setting the stage for life and culture to flourish. Their myth does not stop with the creation of land. Izanami and Izanagi also gave birth to many gods and goddesses, each playing a crucial role in the divine order and the natural world. However, their journey took a sorrowful turn when Izanami died giving birth to the fire god Kagetsuchi. Her death plunged Izanagi into deep mourning, and his grief led him to a descent into the underworld, Yomi, to retrieve her. The story of their separation is filled with poignant moments. Izanagi's journey to the underworld is one of both desperation and love, but when he finds Izanami, she is no longer the radiant goddess she once was. She has become a spirit of darkness and decay, and Izanagi, unable to reconcile with this new reality, returns to the world of the living. This separation marks a fundamental shift in their divine roles. Izanami remains in the underworld, while Izanagi returns to the world above, purifying himself and creating new deities as he emerges from the sacred waters. The influence of Izanami and Izanagi in Shinto beliefs is profound. Their story is not just a myth, but a foundational element of Shinto cosmology. The Japanese islands and the deities they created are central to Shinto worship and practices. Shrines and rituals often honor the gods born from their union, celebrating the divine origins of the land and its spiritual significance. Their myth underscores the importance of creation, life, death, and the cycle of renewal. In Shinto beliefs, Izanami and Izanagi are honored as the divine ancestors of the Japanese people, embodying the sacred connection between the divine and the earthly realms. Their story resonates deeply with the themes of love, loss, and the unbreakable bond between the heavens and the earth. Through their legacy, the divine couple remains a touchstone for understanding the spiritual heritage of Japan. Their creation of the land and its deities is a reminder of the divine forces that shape the world, and their enduring influence continues to inspire reverence and respect in the hearts of those who honor their ancient story. In the icy expanses of the Arctic, where the endless horizon meets the frozen sea, there lives a deity whose presence is as vast and mysterious as the ocean itself. Sedna, the Inuit goddess of the sea, holds a sacred place in the hearts of the Inuit people. Her story is one of power, transformation, and survival, woven into the very fabric of their existence. Sedna is not just a deity, she is the very essence of the sea and all its creatures. In Inuit mythology, she reigns over the ocean, controlling the abundance of sea life that is so crucial to the Inuit way of life. Her domain stretches from the surface waters to the deepest depths, where she governs the seals, whales, and other creatures that provide sustenance to the Inuit. Sedna's influence is both nurturing and stern. She can bless the hunters with a bountiful catch or withhold the creatures, testing the community's resolve. The myths surrounding Sedna are as chilling and poignant as the Arctic winds. According to legend, Sedna was once a beautiful maiden who lived with her father. She was lured away by a sea spirit disguised as a handsome man, and together they ventured to the sea. However, once there, the spirit revealed his true form and Sedna was trapped. In her attempt to escape, her father threw her into the icy waters. As she struggled to cling to the boat, her father cut off her fingers, which transformed into the sea creatures she now rules. Sedna sank to the ocean floor, where she became the goddess of the sea, her severed fingers morphing into seals, whales, and other marine animals. Sedna's tale is more than just a myth, it is a vital part of Inuit rituals and survival. The Inuit believe that respecting Sedna is crucial for their survival in the harsh Arctic environment. They hold elaborate ceremonies to appease her, especially when the hunting seasons are tough. These rituals often involve offerings and chants performed by shamans who seek to restore Sedna's favor and ensure a successful hunt. By honoring Sedna, the Inuit acknowledge their dependence on the sea and its creatures, recognizing the delicate balance between human needs and nature's gifts. In Inuit cosmology, Sedna's significance extends beyond mere survival. She embodies the profound connection between the Inuit and their environment. Her story reflects the harsh realities of Arctic life and the deep respect required to navigate them. The rituals dedicated to Sedna are not just acts of worship, they are expressions of gratitude and reverence for the life-sustaining resources provided by the sea. Through these practices, the Inuit maintain a spiritual harmony with the natural world, ensuring their place within it. Sedna's influence is felt not just in times of plenty but also during periods of scarcity. When the sea does not yield enough food, it is believed that Sedna is angry or displeased. The Inuit shamans undertake journeys to the underworld to seek her forgiveness and restore balance. These spiritual quests are filled with emotion and urgency, underscoring the deep bond between the Inuit and their goddess. The cycle of appeasing and honoring Sedna reflects the ongoing relationship between the Inuit people and the sea that sustains them. In every ripple of the icy waters, and every breath of the Arctic wind, Sedna's presence is a reminder of the power and mystery of the sea. Her story is a powerful testament to the interconnectedness of life and the reverence needed to thrive in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. Sedna, the mother of the sea, remains a symbol of both life and the untamed forces of nature that shape the world of the Inuit. In the misty forests and rolling hills of ancient Slavic lands, there once stood a figure of immense power and mystery, Rod, the primal creator god. In the pantheon of Slavic mythology, Rod was not merely a deity, he was the architect of the cosmos and the weaver of fate itself. His presence, though less celebrated in the records, was deeply woven into the fabric of Slavic spirituality and daily life. Rod's role as the creator god is shrouded in an aura of profound reverence. He is believed to have shaped the world from the void, crafting not just the land and sky, but also the very essence of existence. Rod's creative force was seen as the origin of all things, a primal source from which the universe sprang. This divine act of creation was not just about forming the physical world, but also about instilling it with order and purpose. The connection between Rod and the concept of fate is deeply entwined. In Slavic belief, Rod was seen as the weaver of destiny, the one who set the threads of fate in motion. The concept of fate, or Rod, was central to understanding the human experience and the world. Rod was thought to guide the course of lives, shaping the destiny of individuals and nations alike. This divine influence was not seen as arbitrary, but as part of a greater cosmic plan that unfolded according to the will of the creator god. Rod's worship and cultural significance were profound in ancient Slavic traditions. Although not always prominent in the myths that have survived to the present day, Rod was honored as a primordial force whose influence extended through every aspect of life. Rituals and ceremonies dedicated to Rod were meant to honor his role as the creator and to seek his favor in matters of life and fate. In these rites, people acknowledged their dependence on his divine will and sought to align their lives with the cosmic order he had established. The reverence for Rod was a reflection of the Slavic people's deep connection to their land and their understanding of the natural order. Rod's role as the creator and weaver of fate underscored the belief that every aspect of life was intertwined with a greater, divine plan. His worship was not just about seeking blessings, but also about maintaining harmony with the forces that shaped their world. In the quiet moments of reflection, as the Slavic people looked out over their landscapes, they would feel the presence of Rod in the gentle flow of rivers, the whisper of the wind through the trees, and the rhythms of the changing seasons. Rod's influence was felt in the very fabric of their existence, guiding their paths and shaping their destinies. The legacy of Rod, though perhaps overshadowed by other deities in Slavic mythology, remains a powerful testament to the ancient beliefs that shaped the lives of those who revered him. His role as the primal creator and the weaver of fate speaks to a deep and enduring understanding of the world, where the divine and the mundane are intricately connected through the threads of destiny spun by the hands of a god who created it all. In the ancient lands of Persia, a god of profound wisdom and light emerged from the shadows of chaos. Ahura Mazda, the supreme deity in Zoroastrianism, stands as a beacon of hope and righteousness, casting his light across the centuries. His presence is not just a relic of the past, but a living symbol of the eternal struggle between good and evil. Ahura Mazda, whose name means wise lord, embodies the highest ideals of Zoroastrianism. As the supreme god, he is the source of all creation, embodying wisdom, truth, and order. In the ancient world, where darkness often loomed large, Ahura Mazda was seen as the guiding light that illuminated the path of righteousness. His wisdom was considered infinite, and his power boundless, overseeing the harmony of the universe with a vigilant gaze. Central to Ahura Mazda's essence is the dualistic nature of Zoroastrian belief. The cosmic struggle between Ahura Mazda and Nammu, the destructive spirit, forms the heart of this ancient religion. Ahura Mazda represents the force of good, embodying truth, order, and creation. Nammu, on the other hand, symbolizes chaos, falsehood, and destruction. This dualism is not merely a clash of deities, but a fundamental principle that defines the moral and spiritual landscape of the world. The constant battle between these opposing forces shapes the human experience, urging individuals to align with the divine truth of Ahura Mazda against the forces of darkness. The influence of Ahura Mazda extended far beyond the borders of Persia, impacting various cultures and religions. In the grand tapestry of Persian religion, his teachings laid the groundwork for concepts that resonate through history. The notion of a single, all-powerful deity who represents the ultimate good and opposes evil echoes through the corridors of religious thought, touching upon the foundations of many subsequent beliefs. Ahura Mazda's impact can be seen in the moral and ethical teachings that have traveled through time and space. His emphasis on truth, righteousness, and the eternal struggle against evil has inspired countless generations. The principles of Zoroastrianism, with Ahura Mazda at its center, have influenced the development of monotheistic religions and contributed to the rich tapestry of spiritual thought across cultures. In the ancient Persian world, Ahura Mazda was more than a distant deity, he was a source of inspiration and guidance. His presence was felt in the rituals and prayers of the faithful, in the reverence with which they approached the divine, and in their unwavering commitment to living a life aligned with his teachings. The worship of Ahura Mazda was a profound expression of hope and faith, a testament to the enduring belief in the power of goodness to overcome the darkness. The legacy of Ahura Mazda is a testament to the enduring power of divine wisdom and the eternal struggle for righteousness. His story is not just an ancient myth, but a living testament to the human quest for truth and light in a world often shadowed by darkness. Through the teachings of Ahura Mazda, the ancient Persians left a timeless message of hope and moral clarity, reminding us of the divine light that guides us through the challenges of life. In the ancient whispers of the Babylonian cosmos, one name echoes with a haunting resonance: Tiamat. She is not merely a figure of myth, but a powerful embodiment of primordial chaos. Tiamat, the goddess of the Salt Sea, stands as the archetype of the abyssal chaos that existed before the world took shape. Her story is a profound tale of conflict, creation, and cosmic order, touching the very heart of human understanding of the universe. Tiamat's presence is felt as a vast, swirling void, a boundless sea that existed before time itself. In Babylonian mythology, she is the very essence of chaos, a dark and turbulent force that predates the formation of the world. The image of Tiamat is both awe-inspiring and terrifying, representing the raw, untamed power of nature that is both life-giving and destructive. Her role is not just as a goddess, but as a primordial entity whose essence is intertwined with the very fabric of existence. The story of Tiamat is one of dramatic transformation and conflict. According to Babylonian myth, Tiamat and Apsu, the freshwater god, were the original deities who existed in a state of unformed chaos. From their union came the first generation of gods, who brought life and order. However, as these new gods emerged and began to shape the cosmos, Tiamat's role shifted from a creator to a force of resistance. Angered by the disruption of her primordial chaos, Tiamat waged war against the younger gods, seeking to return the universe to its original state of formlessness. The battle between Tiamat and the new gods culminates in a dramatic clash with Marduk, the storm god who rises to prominence as the hero of the myth. Marduk's victory over Tiamat is not merely a tale of conquest, but a profound statement on the nature of creation. By defeating Tiamat, Marduk creates the world from her divided body, shaping the heavens and the earth. This act of creation is a symbolic triumph of order over chaos, light over darkness. Tiamat's defeat is not just the end of her power, but the beginning of a new, ordered universe where the forces of chaos are subdued by the divine will. Tiamat's symbolism is deeply embedded in the Babylonian understanding of the world. She represents the untamed and primal aspects of existence, the raw potential from which all life springs. Her role in the pantheon of Babylonian deities is one of both respect and fear. Tiamat is a reminder of the delicate balance between order and chaos, and her story highlights the struggles faced in the quest to impose order on the chaotic forces of nature. Her legacy persists in the cultural and religious practices of the ancient Babylonians, where her influence is felt in the rituals and stories that sought to understand and control the chaotic forces of the world. Tiamat's presence in these myths serves as a powerful symbol of the eternal struggle between creation and destruction, a reminder of the profound forces that shape the cosmos and the divine struggle to bring order and harmony from the void. In the heart of Babylonian mythology, Tiamat's story remains a testament to the power of myth to capture the complexities of the universe. Her tale is a dramatic reminder of the primal forces that lie beneath the surface of the world, forces that must be understood and respected. Through Tiamat, we see the deep connection between chaos and creation, the eternal dance between destruction and order, and the powerful impact of myth in shaping our understanding of the cosmos. Tangaroa's name is whispered like a sacred chant across the vast, endless oceans of Polynesia. To the Polynesian people, Tangaroa is not just a god, he is the very heartbeat of the sea, the spirit that breathes life into the waves and holds the mysteries of the deep. His importance in Polynesian creation myths reveals a profound connection between the people and the ocean that surrounds them. In the ancient stories of the Polynesians, Tangaroa emerges as a central figure in the creation of the world. He is often described as the god of the sea, a vast and mysterious force that nurtures and sustains life. According to myth, Tangaroa played a crucial role in shaping the land and populating it with life. He created the first fish and sea creatures, giving life to the ocean and, by extension, to the islands that dot the Pacific. His power over the sea is both awe-inspiring and humbling, a reminder of the ocean's immense and untamed nature. The relationship between Tangaroa and other Polynesian deities is woven into the very fabric of their mythology. In many accounts, Tangaroa is seen as a sibling to other gods who personify different elements of nature. For example, in some stories, he is the brother of Tane, the god of the forest, and of Rongo, the god of agriculture. This divine family is often depicted as working in harmony and sometimes in conflict, reflecting the balance of nature and the interconnectedness of all living things. Each god has a distinct role, but their actions are intertwined, shaping the world in a grand, cosmic dance. Tangaroa's influence extends beyond myth and legend into the very way of life for Polynesian peoples. The sea, under his dominion, is not just a body of water, it is a source of sustenance, a route for exploration, and a cultural touchstone. Polynesians have long been master navigators, using their understanding of the stars, ocean currents, and waves to guide their journeys across the vast Pacific. This intricate knowledge is deeply connected to their reverence for Tangaroa. The sea's bounty is seen as a direct gift from him, and the safe passage across its waters is a blessing from the god of the ocean. The rituals and ceremonies dedicated to Tangaroa reflect the deep respect and gratitude Polynesians hold for the sea. Offerings are made to honor him, asking for his favor and protection. These ceremonies are not just religious acts but expressions of a profound relationship with the natural world, a recognition of the sea's power and the role Tangaroa plays in their daily lives. Tangaroa's presence is felt in every wave and breeze that touches the shores of the islands. His story is a reminder of the delicate balance between humanity and nature, the respect that must be shown to the forces that sustain life. His influence is a testament to the Polynesian people's deep connection to the ocean and their ability to navigate and thrive in one of the most expansive and challenging environments on Earth. In many African cultures, the concept of the oldest god is often intertwined with the veneration of ancestral spirits. These revered ancestors are not distant figures from the past, they are seen as living, guiding forces, deeply woven into the fabric of daily life. They embody the wisdom and power of those who came before, their presence a constant, comforting reminder of the connections that span generations. In African beliefs, the oldest god is frequently represented by ancestral spirits rather than an abstract, distant deity. These spirits are believed to be intimately involved in the lives of their descendants. They offer guidance, protection, and blessings, acting as intermediaries between the living and the divine. The respect for these ancestors is profound, rooted in the understanding that the wisdom of the past helps shape the present and the future. Ancestor worship plays a pivotal role in connecting the past with the present. This practice is not merely about remembering the dead, but about honoring their ongoing influence. In many African cultures, ancestors are seen as the custodians of wisdom and tradition. They are believed to have a stake in the well-being of their descendants, and their approval or disapproval can impact the fortunes of the living. This connection makes ancestor worship a crucial element of African spiritual life, where ancestral spirits are revered as powerful and guiding forces. Consider the Yoruba people of West Africa, where ancestral spirits are integral to religious practice. In Yoruba belief, ancestors, known as Egungun, are seen as divine protectors and advisors. Rituals and ceremonies are held to honor these spirits, seeking their guidance and ensuring their continued favor. The Egungun are celebrated with vibrant festivals, where their presence is invoked through dance, music, and offerings. This deep connection underscores the role of ancestors as vital, living forces in the community. Similarly, among the Kikuyu of Kenya, the spirits of ancestors are revered as part of the spiritual landscape. The Kikuyu believe that the ancestors, known as Mumbai, hold sway over the land and its fertility. Rituals are performed to ensure that these spirits are appeased and that their blessings are granted. The relationship with Mumbai is considered essential for prosperity and harmony within the community, illustrating how ancestral spirits are intertwined with the well-being of the living. In southern Africa, the Zulu people honor their ancestors through rituals and ceremonies that reflect a deep respect for their guidance. The ancestors, known as Amadlozi, are believed to watch over their descendants, offering protection and counsel. The Amadlozi are invoked during important events and crises, their spirits believed to provide support and intervention. This reverence for the ancestors highlights their role as influential and protective forces in everyday life. The role of ancestral spirits as the oldest gods is a profound testament to the enduring connection between generations. In African religions, this relationship underscores the belief that the wisdom and power of the past continue to shape and guide the present. Ancestors are not distant memories but active, revered forces, embodying the essence of the oldest deity as a living, present force in the spiritual and everyday lives of their descendants. In the heart of the ancient Maya civilization, a profound belief echoes through the ages, the idea of a single, supreme creator known as Hunab Ku. This name, resonating with the weight of time, represents the essence of unity and the boundless force behind creation itself. To the Maya, Hunab Ku was not merely a deity, he was the embodiment of the cosmos, the driving force behind all existence, and the silent, watchful presence that shaped the world. Hunab Ku stands apart as a singular entity in Mayan cosmology, a symbol of the ultimate oneness from which everything sprang. Unlike other gods who were often associated with specific aspects of nature or human experience, Hunab Ku encapsulated the entire cosmos in his divine essence. He was perceived as the source of all life, the architect of the universe, and the fundamental energy that infused every corner of existence. In Mayan belief, Hunab Ku was not a distant, detached force. Instead, he was a deeply personal and omnipresent creator whose influence was woven into every aspect of life and nature. His attributes reflected a profound understanding of balance and unity. Hunab Ku was often associated with the number 1, symbolizing his singular nature and the idea that all things originate from him. This number also represented wholeness and completeness, reinforcing his role as the ultimate source and the divine order that maintains harmony in the universe. The significance of Hunab Ku extended beyond mere creation. He was a guiding principle, a beacon of cosmic order and balance. The Maya saw him as a deity who not only created the world but also ensured its ongoing stability. His influence permeated their understanding of time, space, and existence. In the grand tapestry of Mayan cosmology, Hunab Ku was the central thread, connecting all elements of the universe and ensuring that they functioned in harmony. Hunab Ku's impact did not end with the Maya civilization. His essence and attributes left a lasting imprint on later Mesoamerican religions. As other cultures emerged in the region, the concept of a singular, supreme creator continued to resonate, evolving yet remaining deeply rooted in the idea of a unifying divine force. This enduring influence highlights Hunab Ku's significance as a powerful symbol of unity and creation, transcending the boundaries of a single civilization to touch the spiritual lives of many. In the face of time's relentless march, the legacy of Hunab Ku endures, a reminder of the profound connection between the divine and the world. His role as the supreme creator and embodiment of unity continues to inspire awe and reverence, reflecting the Maya's deep understanding of the cosmos and their place within it. Hunab Ku's story is not just a relic of the past, but a living testament to the timeless quest for meaning and connection in the vast expanse of existence. In the lush, green landscapes of ancient Celtic lands, a figure stood tall as both a father and a leader, a beacon of wisdom and strength. This was Dagda, revered in Celtic mythology as the good god, whose presence filled the world with warmth and guidance. Dagda wasn't just another deity, he was the embodiment of nurturing power, a father figure who held the fabric of the divine and the earthly realms together with his mighty, benevolent hands. Dagda's role as the father of the gods and leader of the Tuatha De Danann marked him as a central figure in Celtic lore. His image was that of a robust and kind-hearted deity, someone whose very essence radiated both authority and affection. With his great cauldron, which was said to never run dry, and his enormous club, which could both create life and end it with a single blow, Dagda represented the dual nature of existence, creation and destruction, abundance and limitation. These symbols reflected his control over the fundamental forces of life and death, embodying his role as a keeper of balance and harmony. The myths surrounding Dagda are as rich and varied as the rolling hills of the Celtic lands. One of the most poignant tales is of his cauldron of plenty, which symbolizes his role as a provider and caretaker. This cauldron was said to be a source of endless sustenance, reflecting Dagda's nurturing side and his capacity to care for the gods and the people alike. Another notable story involves his club, which was as much a tool of healing as it was a weapon of destruction. This duality in his powers mirrored his complex nature, capable of both great generosity and formidable strength. Dagda's relationship with other gods and his influence over the celestial and earthly realms cemented his status in Celtic mythology. He was seen not only as a leader but also as a symbol of the ideal ruler, wise, just, and caring. His presence in myths and rituals underscored the values of leadership and kinship cherished by the Celts. The stories told of his deeds were more than mere legends, they were lessons in how to lead with compassion and strength, reflecting the deep respect that ancient Celts had for their gods and the virtues they embodied. The cultural impact of Dagda in ancient Celtic societies was profound. He was not merely a figure of worship but a symbol of the values and ideals that guided Celtic life. Festivals and rituals dedicated to Dagda celebrated not just his power but his role as a loving and responsible deity. Through these practices, the Celts honored the balance of life and the importance of both nurturing and leadership in their daily lives. Dagda's stories and attributes became woven into the cultural fabric, shaping how the Celts perceived their world and their place within it. Dagda's legacy endures as a powerful reminder of the complex and multifaceted nature of divinity. His role as a father figure and leader, along with the rich tapestry of myths surrounding him, offers a glimpse into the heart of Celtic spirituality, a world where the divine was deeply intertwined with the human experience, and where gods like Dagda were both protectors and guides in the journey of life. In the ancient lands where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers whispered tales of old, Anu's presence loomed like an eternal shadow over the cradle of civilization. As the chief god of the heavens, Anu held a place of profound reverence and awe across the changing landscapes of Assyria and Babylon. His story, stretching from the early Sumerian days into the heart of Assyrian and Babylonian religion, is a testament to the enduring power of the divine. Anu began as a celestial figure, a distant yet omnipotent deity who was the father of the gods and the ruler of the heavens. In the Sumerian pantheon, he was the highest god, presiding over the cosmos with an unshakable authority. This status didn't diminish with time but continued to shine brightly as Assyria and Babylon rose to prominence. In these later civilizations, Anu's role evolved but remained central. His dominion over the skies and his role as a divine judge continued to make him a cornerstone of Mesopotamian belief. In Assyrian and Babylonian religions, Anu's worship transitioned from a remote celestial figure to an even more revered deity. As the Assyrian Empire expanded its reach, Anu's presence was felt not only in temples and rituals but also in the daily lives of the people. Assyrian kings, whose authority was often seen as divinely sanctioned, turned to Anu for guidance and support, seeking his favor to legitimize their rule and protect their realm. His influence was woven into the very fabric of Assyrian governance and religious life, making him an omnipresent force in the lives of the people. Similarly, in Babylon, Anu retained his place as a principal deity even as the city's religious landscape evolved. The Babylonians adopted and adapted the older Sumerian traditions, integrating Anu into their own religious practices. His role as the chief god continued, but his relationship with other deities became more complex. In Babylonian mythology, Anu was seen as part of a divine triad that included Enlil and Ea. This triad represented the highest echelon of divine power, each god contributing to the cosmic order in their unique way. Anu's supreme status was thus harmonized with the roles of these other gods, reflecting the intricate interplay of divine forces in Babylonian thought. The relationship between Anu and other Mesopotamian gods was one of both dominance and integration. While Anu was revered as the chief deity, he was also part of a larger pantheon where gods like Enlil, the god of air and storms, and Ea, the god of wisdom and waters, played crucial roles. The dynamic among these gods was not just a hierarchy but a complex network of influence and interaction. Anu's leadership was acknowledged, but his power was often seen in collaboration with the divine attributes of Enlil and Ea, creating a balanced and multifaceted understanding of the divine. Anu's influence also extended beyond mere reverence. It shaped the cultural and religious practices of the time. Temples dedicated to Anu were centers of both worship and community life. Offerings, prayers, and rituals were performed to honor him, seeking his blessings for prosperity and protection. In times of crisis or change, Anu's favor was sought through elaborate ceremonies, reflecting the deep-seated belief in his role as a guardian of order and justice. As Assyria and Babylon developed their distinct identities, Anu's worship adapted but never waned. His ancient role as the supreme god continued to resonate, bridging the early Sumerian traditions with the evolving religious practices of the Assyrians and Babylonians. Through periods of conquest and change, Anu remained a constant symbol of divine authority, embodying the eternal and unchanging aspects of the cosmos. Anu's story is a poignant reminder of the continuity of belief across time and cultures. From the heights of the Sumerian heavens to the temples of Assyria and Babylon, his presence was a beacon of divine power and protection. His enduring role as the chief god highlights the profound connection between the divine and the earthly, shaping the spiritual and cultural landscape of one of the most influential civilizations in human history. In the swirling mists of time, ancient deities wielded immense power, shaping the beliefs and practices of early civilizations. These primal gods, often seen as the creators of the cosmos and the enforcers of divine law, left a legacy that stretches far beyond their own eras. Their influence carved pathways into the future, molding and blending into new religious systems and pantheons, whispering their stories through centuries of transformation. One of the most fascinating aspects of religious evolution is how these ancient gods found their way into later belief systems. As empires rose and fell, and cultures intertwined, the oldest gods did not simply fade away. Instead, they adapted and merged, their essence woven into the fabric of emerging religions. This process of integration and adaptation is a testament to the enduring power of these deities. Take, for instance, the way ancient Egyptian gods influenced later religious traditions. The sun god Ra, once a central figure in Egyptian mythology, did not vanish with the decline of the pharaohs. Instead, Ra's attributes were absorbed into the Christian tradition, where elements of his symbolism and authority can be seen in the figure of Christ as the light of the world. This blending reflects a continuity of divine themes, showing how ancient deities can leave their mark on new religious narratives. In the ancient Near East, the transition from the Sumerian pantheon to the Babylonian and Assyrian deities showcases another example of this profound influence. Gods like Anu, originally worshipped in Sumer, continued to hold sway in Babylonian and Assyrian beliefs. Over time, Anu's role as the sky god was merged with attributes of other deities, creating a more complex and integrated divine hierarchy. This adaptation demonstrates how ancient deities could transform and persist, their essence carried forward into new religious contexts. The concept of syncretism, the blending of different religious traditions, plays a crucial role in understanding how old gods influenced new religions. In the Greco-Roman world, for example, the ancient gods of Greece were often equated with Roman deities, despite the differences in names and attributes. Zeus, the Greek king of the gods, became Jupiter in Roman religion. The qualities of Zeus, from his thunderbolts to his role as the king of gods, were preserved and adapted within the Roman pantheon, showcasing a seamless continuity between these ancient belief systems. In India, the influence of ancient Vedic deities on later Hinduism illustrates a similar process. The Vedic gods, such as Indra and Varuna, evolved into new forms within Hinduism. Their roles and attributes were transformed but remained integral to the spiritual landscape of the region. Indra, once a fierce god of thunder and rain, became a figure whose essence contributed to the broader tapestry of Hindu gods, reflecting how older religious concepts were preserved and adapted over time. Similarly, in Mesoamerica, the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, known as the feathered serpent, influenced and was influenced by other deities across different cultures. The attributes and myths surrounding Quetzalcoatl found parallels in later deities and religious practices in the region. This cross-cultural exchange highlights the fluidity with which ancient gods were absorbed into new belief systems, their stories blending and evolving with new cultural contexts. In the African continent, the veneration of ancestral spirits often merges with other religious practices. The concept of ancestor worship, deeply rooted in many African traditions, integrates with newer religions such as Christianity and Islam. Ancestral spirits, revered as protectors and guides, continue to hold sway even as new religious elements are introduced. This syncretism reflects the resilience and adaptability of ancient spiritual beliefs, showing how they endure within evolving religious frameworks. The influence of the oldest gods on later religions is not merely about preservation, it's also about transformation and adaptation. These ancient deities, through their integration into new pantheons, provide a bridge between different cultural and religious epochs. Their stories and attributes evolve, reflecting the changing values and beliefs of societies, yet their core essence continues to resonate across time. In every corner of the globe, from the deserts of Mesopotamia to the mountains of Greece, the ancient gods whisper their legacies through the ages. They remind us of the enduring nature of human spirituality and the way divine concepts evolve, adapt, and persist. Through their journey across different religions and cultures, these primal deities demonstrate the profound impact they have had on shaping human understanding of the divine. Across the tapestry of human history, ancient gods emerge from the shadows of myth, each a testament to the earliest attempts of humankind to understand the world. As we weave together these divine figures from distant lands and epochs, a stunning pattern begins to emerge, a pattern that speaks to the shared experiences and fears of our ancestors, regardless of where they lived or what language they spoke. Take a moment to consider these primal deities. From the sky god Dyaus Pitar in ancient India to the primordial chaos goddess Tiamat in Mesopotamia, these gods were not just symbols of power. They were the embodiments of the forces that shaped existence itself. Despite the vast distances and differences in cultural practices, certain threads connect them in striking ways. One of the most profound similarities is their role as creators. Whether it's the Japanese deities Izanami and Izanagi who brought forth the Japanese islands, or the Aztec god Ometeotl, who embodies duality and balance in creation, these gods are often depicted as the architects of the world. Their creation stories are more than mere myth. They are reflections of humanity's deepest questions about the origins of life and the universe. Another common theme is the embodiment of elemental forces. Tiamat, in her chaotic, watery form, represents the primal sea and the tumultuous power of creation. Similarly, the Greek goddess Gaia personifies the earth itself, a nurturing force that gave birth to all life. In Polynesian mythology, Tangaroa stands as the god of the sea, guiding the waves and the creatures within. These deities do not merely rule over elements, they are the very essence of those elements, weaving them into the fabric of the cosmos. These gods also share archetypal roles as guardians of cosmic order and balance. In Norse mythology, Ymir's body is used to create the world, highlighting a deep connection between chaos and order. The Hindu god Dyaus Pitar, though less directly involved in creation myths, embodies the cosmic order through his role as the sky god. This recurring theme of maintaining balance and order through divine intervention underscores a universal concern among ancient peoples, the need to understand and manage the forces that shape their lives. Despite these similarities, differences in how these gods are portrayed and worshipped reveal the rich diversity of human experience. For instance, while Gaia is a nurturing mother figure in Greek mythology, the Babylonian goddess Tiamat is often depicted as a fearsome dragon whose defeat leads to the creation of the world. This contrast highlights how different cultures personified similar concepts, creation and chaos, in ways that fit their unique understanding of the world. The way these gods are integrated into cultural practices also varies widely. In the Celtic tradition, Dagda is a father figure and a god of fertility and abundance, playing a central role in societal well-being and governance. In contrast, the Inuit deity Sedna is revered as the mother of the sea, a figure whose influence directly impacts the survival of the Inuit people through the control of sea creatures. These differences in focus and importance reflect the diverse ways in which ancient societies related to their environments and their gods. The study of these deities not only reveals striking commonalities, but also deepens our understanding of human spirituality. The similarities in their roles and attributes suggest that, regardless of time and place, there are universal themes in the human experience. These gods help to explain the cosmos, provide moral and social frameworks, and address the fundamental questions of existence that have always preoccupied human minds. In recognizing these shared themes, we see how ancient cultures grappled with similar existential concerns. The gods they created were not just symbols of their particular societies, but also reflections of the universal human quest for meaning and understanding. By comparing these deities, we gain insight into how diverse cultures have sought to answer the same profound questions about life, creation, and the universe. The influence of these ancient gods extends beyond their own cultures, touching upon the very essence of human spirituality. Their stories and attributes, passed down through generations and across civilizations, reveal the deep-seated needs and aspirations that connect us all. As we unravel the threads of these ancient myths, we uncover a shared human heritage that speaks to the timeless quest for connection, understanding, and transcendence. From the first strokes on ancient stone to the most intricate sculptures, the depiction of the oldest gods in art offers a window into the soul of early civilizations. These divine figures, rendered with reverence and skill, transcend their physical forms to become symbols of power, creation, and the very essence of life. Imagine standing before a massive stone carving, the figure of a deity emerging from the rock with an awe-inspiring presence. In Mesopotamia, gods like Tiamat were immortalized in clay and stone, often depicted as fearsome creatures or in intricate ceremonial attire. Their images spoke of chaos and creation, encapsulating the raw power that shaped the cosmos. The swirling, serpentine forms of Tiamat on ancient Babylonian reliefs embody a primal force that both terrifies and fascinates. These depictions were not mere art, they were an attempt to capture and communicate the essence of divine power. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, gods like Ra, with his falcon head, were brought to life through meticulously crafted statues and hieroglyphs. Ra's depiction as a sun god, with a radiant disk encircling his head, symbolizes his role as the giver of light and life. The ancient Egyptians used these artistic portrayals not only to honor their gods, but to ensure their favor and protection. Each symbol, from the ankh to the scarab, was imbued with sacred meaning, reflecting the deep spirituality of a civilization that revered its gods through elaborate and symbolic artistry. In the Greek world, the depiction of Gaia as the Earth Mother and Uranus as the primordial sky god took on diverse forms in art. Gaia was often shown as a nurturing figure, her body intertwined with the fertile land, symbolizing the bounty of nature. The Greeks used art to represent their gods in ways that highlighted their attributes and relationships with humanity. These depictions were more than mere representations, they were reflections of the gods' roles in the natural order and human life. The symbolism embedded in these ancient artworks extends beyond their immediate visual impact. For instance, in the art of the Aztecs, Ometeotl was often represented with dual faces, embodying the balance between creation and destruction. This duality was not just a visual trait, but a fundamental concept woven into the fabric of Aztec cosmology. The artistry of the Aztecs revealed their understanding of the world's balance and their reverence for the gods who maintained it. Similarly, in the Hindu tradition, the ancient depictions of gods like Dyaus Pitar and later Hindu deities capture the cosmic order and divine attributes with striking clarity. The majestic forms of these gods, with multiple arms and divine symbols, illustrate their omnipotence and omnipresence. These images were not only artistic expressions but also tools for spiritual education, teaching followers about the divine nature and cosmic order. The impact of these early depictions on later artistic traditions is profound. As civilizations evolved, the artistic portrayals of their gods influenced and shaped artistic practices across cultures. The Roman and Byzantine empires, for instance, absorbed and adapted Greek and Egyptian artistic elements, blending them into their own religious iconography. The reverence for divine forms continued, but with new interpretations and styles that reflected the changing beliefs and artistic sensibilities of the time. The enduring legacy of these ancient artistic depictions is seen in how they have influenced modern art and culture. The symbolism and attributes of these oldest gods have inspired countless works of art, literature, and popular culture. The powerful images of deities like Anu, with his cosmic authority, and Sedna, with her connection to the sea, continue to resonate in contemporary artistic expressions. These depictions remind us of the universal human impulse to understand and depict the divine. Through the ages, the oldest gods have been portrayed in ways that capture their essence and significance, leaving an indelible mark on the artistic traditions of countless cultures. As we look at these ancient artworks, we glimpse not only the gods themselves, but also the profound connections between humanity and the divine that have shaped our artistic heritage. In the quiet corners of ancient cultures, where the flicker of a firelight once danced against cave walls, the stories of the oldest gods were whispered and woven into the fabric of daily life. These myths, rich with the echoes of divine adventures and cosmic struggles, have preserved the memory of these deities through the ages. Imagine sitting around a fire, the air thick with anticipation as an elder begins to recount the tale of Ymir, the primordial giant of Norse mythology. His voice, heavy with the weight of countless retellings, brings to life the chaotic void and the birth of the world from his mighty frame. Each word spoken is a thread in the grand tapestry of memory, connecting listeners to a world long past but never forgotten. These myths, spoken with reverence and passion, are more than just stories, they are lifelines to the divine, holding the essence of the gods they portray. As these stories traveled through generations, they were shaped and reshaped by the cultures that embraced them. In ancient Greece, the myths of Gaia and Uranus were etched into marble, their tales told in grand theaters and solemn temples. These narratives were not static but evolved as they were passed from one storyteller to another, each adding their own layer of meaning and context. Through oral traditions, the myths became living entities, growing with each retelling and reflecting the changing values and beliefs of the people. With the advent of writing, these oral traditions found a new home in the pages of ancient texts. Sumerian tablets, Egyptian papyri, and Greek scrolls became repositories for the myths of gods like Anu, Ra, and Zeus. These written records served as both preservation and adaptation, ensuring that the stories would endure beyond the fleeting moments of oral performance. The ink on these ancient pages holds more than just words. It carries the breath of the gods, the pulse of their stories, and the reverence of those who believed in their power. The transmission of these myths through both oral and written means allowed them to transcend their origins and become part of a shared human heritage. For centuries, the stories of the gods were told and retold, each version reflecting the culture and era in which it was told. These myths were carried across continents, influencing and blending with the myths of other cultures. The god of the sea, Tangaroa, and the primordial chaos goddess, Tiamat, for instance, might have interacted in the imaginations of different peoples, their stories merging into new forms as they encountered each other through trade and exploration. In modern times, these ancient myths continue to resonate. The stories of the oldest gods are not just relics of a bygone era but living, breathing narratives that still capture our imagination. They appear in books, films, and art, reimagined and reinvigorated for new generations. The grandeur of the gods like Odin, the wisdom of El, and the chaos of Tiamat are brought to life in contemporary media, reflecting the timeless allure of their stories. These modern adaptations are a testament to the enduring power of myths, showing how the echoes of ancient beliefs continue to shape and inspire. Moreover, the relevance of these myths in modern culture extends beyond entertainment. They offer insights into the human condition, revealing how our ancestors grappled with fundamental questions about existence, morality, and the nature of the divine. Through these myths, we gain a glimpse into the values and struggles of ancient societies, and in doing so, we find reflections of our own hopes and fears. The role of mythology in preserving the oldest gods is a powerful reminder of the human need to connect with something greater than ourselves. These stories have traveled through time, weathering the changes of civilizations and the passage of centuries, to remain a vital part of our cultural and spiritual landscape. They remind us that the divine, as envisioned by our ancestors, is not confined to the past, but continues to shape our present and future. Each retelling, each adaptation, keeps the memory of these gods alive, ensuring that their stories continue to inspire, challenge, and enrich us. In the quiet whispers of today's world, where ancient voices long thought silent find a new resonance, the oldest gods are being rediscovered with a fervor that bridges past and present. Picture walking through a modern city, the hum of daily life swirling around you, when suddenly, you encounter a vibrant festival celebrating deities from millennia ago. The air is filled with a blend of old hymns and modern beats, creating a striking fusion of tradition and contemporary life. In contemporary spirituality and neo-paganism, the gods of ancient times are being interpreted in new and profound ways. These deities, once confined to dusty books and forgotten temples, are now the heart of practices that seek to reconnect with ancient wisdom and energy. Imagine a young practitioner, draped in a cloak adorned with symbols of old gods, performing rituals that are a blend of ancient rites and modern spiritual needs. For them, these gods are not relics of a bygone age, but living forces that offer guidance and meaning in today's world. In neo-pagan circles, ancient gods like Hecate and Odin are being embraced anew. Hecate, the ancient Greek goddess of magic and the underworld, is celebrated with rituals that honor her as a guardian of the liminal spaces between worlds. Her followers gather under the light of the full moon, their chants echoing the ancient prayers that once called her presence. Odin, the chief of the Norse gods, is invoked in gatherings that blend ancient Viking traditions with modern values, celebrating his wisdom and strength as relevant to today's struggles. This resurgence of interest in ancient deities is also manifesting in popular culture. Films, television shows, and books are increasingly featuring these gods, often reimagined to fit into contemporary narratives. A blockbuster movie might depict Thor not just as a hammer-wielding god of thunder, but as a symbol of resilience and courage in a world fraught with challenges. These portrayals breathe new life into ancient myths, allowing modern audiences to engage with them in ways that are both entertaining and enlightening. Consider the case of the Greek goddess Artemis, once a fierce protector of the wild and a symbol of independence. In recent years, Artemis has seen a revival through various forms of media and spirituality. Her image appears in everything from comic books to personal meditations, where she is celebrated as a champion of environmental causes and female empowerment. This modern reinterpretation connects her ancient attributes with current issues, making her a powerful symbol for today's activists and seekers. Another striking example is the revival of ancient Egyptian deities like Isis. Historically revered as a mother goddess and protector of the downtrodden, Isis has found her way into modern spiritual practices. People today turn to her for guidance in times of personal crisis, invoking her name in rituals that blend ancient spells with contemporary needs. Her story resonates deeply with those who seek to balance the ancient and the modern, finding solace in her timeless wisdom. The resurgence of these ancient gods is not merely a nostalgic return to the past, but a meaningful integration of old beliefs into the fabric of contemporary life. Through rituals, festivals, and media, these deities are woven into the lives of people seeking deeper connections and a sense of continuity with the past. They serve as bridges, linking the ancient wisdom of our ancestors with the present day, offering insights and comfort in a world that often feels disconnected from its spiritual roots. In modern spirituality, the oldest gods are not just revered but reinterpreted to address contemporary issues and values. This revival is a testament to the enduring relevance of these deities, showing that their stories and attributes continue to resonate with the human experience. As these gods are embraced and reimagined, they provide a rich tapestry of meaning and inspiration that spans both time and culture. Imagine standing in a quiet room, the walls adorned with ancient symbols and the soft glow of candlelight casting flickering shadows. As you take a deep breath, you realize the room is filled with echoes of stories that have traveled across time and space, each whispering the names of gods who have shaped human history. These are the oldest gods, whose influence stretches far beyond their ancient origins, touching every corner of human culture and thought. The oldest gods have left an indelible mark on the tapestry of human history. From the dawn of civilization, these deities have been central to understanding the world and our place in it. They were not merely figures of worship, but symbols of the forces that governed the cosmos and human destiny. Each god carried the weight of the human experience, creation, destruction, life, and death, reflecting our deepest fears, hopes, and values. Consider Anu, the ancient Sumerian god of the sky, whose presence was felt in the vast expanse of the heavens and whose influence extended through the Assyrian and Babylonian empires. His role as the chief deity was not just a title but a reflection of humanity's quest to understand the cosmos. His legacy reminds us of the early human drive to seek meaning in the universe, a drive that continues to fuel our curiosity and exploration today. Or think about Gaia, the earth goddess of Greek mythology, who personified the very ground we walk upon and the life that thrives from it. Her mythos, woven into the fabric of ancient Greek culture, still resonates in our modern environmental concerns. Gaia's presence in mythology highlights our enduring relationship with nature and the reverence we have for the planet that sustains us. The ancient gods also embody the universal themes of duality and balance, as seen in the Aztec god Ometeotl. This deity represented the concept of duality, combining opposing forces into a harmonious whole. This notion of balance echoes through various cultures and philosophies, reminding us of the constant struggle to reconcile opposites within ourselves and in the world around us. In every culture, these deities were more than just supernatural beings, they were reflections of human aspirations and fears. The myths surrounding them were not merely stories, but ways to understand and navigate the complexities of life. Through their tales, ancient peoples made sense of natural phenomena, societal structures, and personal experiences. Their stories provided a framework for understanding the world and our place in it, a tradition that continues as we search for meaning in our lives. The impact of these gods is also seen in the ways their myths have been preserved and adapted over time. From ancient texts to modern reinterpretations, their stories have been passed down through generations, each telling adding new layers of meaning. The continued relevance of these deities in contemporary spirituality and popular culture underscores their timeless appeal and the universal nature of their messages. The oldest gods also serve as a bridge to understanding our spiritual heritage. They remind us of the diverse ways human societies have sought to connect with the divine and the natural world. Their myths and symbols offer insights into the values, fears, and dreams of ancient peoples, providing a window into their lives and beliefs. By studying these deities, we gain a deeper appreciation for the richness of human spirituality and the ways in which it has evolved over millennia. As you reflect on the legacy of the oldest gods, you may feel a profound sense of connection to the past and to the timeless human quest for understanding. These deities, once central to ancient civilizations, continue to inspire and guide us, reminding us of our shared heritage and the enduring power of myth. Their stories are not just remnants of a bygone era, but living expressions of our collective consciousness, bridging the ancient and the modern in ways that continue to shape our world. In the quiet of that room, surrounded by the echoes of ancient gods, you come to realize that their legacy is not confined to history. It lives on in every story told, every belief held, and every quest for meaning that defines the human experience. The oldest gods, with their timeless presence, remind us of the deep connections that bind us across time and space, offering a glimpse into the eternal dance of life, creation, and the divine.